Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be the process of reattraction. Well, I've got an email success story. I should say this guy's kind of like on the verge of achieving success. And he's in a situation where he first found my work after his wife of, I think it was about 16, 17 years, found out that she was cheating on him. And so obviously, like a lot of guys, he probably blamed himself for a while, thought, hey, we can work this out. But eventually he said it took him about 6, 7 months to finally tell his ex-wife that that's it. Time for you to go. This shit ain't working for me. Not interested in working out. And then so he met a woman shortly after that just fucking knocked his socks off. And this was before he had found my work. And so he's thinking, wow, this is great. My wife cheated on me. Now I got a new one in my life. And then things moved really quick. They both liked each other. The sex was really amazing and passionate. She was telling him how great the sex was. And all of a sudden, she started backing away. And then obviously when she started backing away, he's thinking, what the hell? This girl was so hot for me, telling me how great the sex was. And now she's like, can't find time to hang out with me. So obviously that's at that point is when he came across my YouTube videos, started reading the book. And so what I liked about his email is he kind of details the process that he goes through, and he doesn't get everything right. He doesn't just go through my book and read the video and article, 7 Principles to Get an X-Back, and perfectly implement it. Because he still has that illusion of action. He's got to reach out, he's got to do something, he's got to try to make something happen. And so it's interesting as you see where it's at now, where he's finally stepped back enough and taken his power back, and he's resisting the urge to reach out and pursue her. And you'll see how it just, it's so subtle. It's like right on the verge there of her being totally disinterested because he's pursuing when she's wanting space. And then he lets go, and then she starts to come back, and her whole attitude, everything totally changes. Pretty cool. Because I know about probably 90% of the people that come to me, they're in a similar kind of situation. And so I figured it was a good email to go through for those of you that are in the middle of something like this. Maybe it's your wife you're trying to reattract, or a girlfriend, or some girl you just started dating, and things started off real hot and heavy like it did with this guy, and then she kind of became cold as ice. And obviously, like most guys, you think, you're just telling me how great the sex was, and now you're confused, you need some space. So I got a quote that I wrote, and then we'll go through his email. The quote says, everyone loves, wants, and respects confidence. Confident and optimistic people make everyone naturally feel better simply by their presence and energy. Confident people make it easier for others to feel more confident themselves. Confidence is doing what you know how to do and doing it really well. Being competent, proficient, and efficient. Confidence is expectation of a favorable and positive final outcome, no matter what the current conditions or future predictions are. Confident people know that failure is not final, but simply a delay and challenge to overcome. Time, patience, persistence, perseverance, adaptation, and optimization eventually overcome all obstacles to success. That's basically what this guy's doing. He's adapting his approach because he recognized that what he was doing wasn't working. Comes across my work, and obviously he's struggling a little bit to implement it. Because when you really care about somebody, especially somebody that is way more amazing than the marriage or the relationship that they got out of, it's like the unicorn doesn't come along like every other day. So let's go through his email and see what we can see. He says, hey Corey, I'll try to keep this short, but I felt compelled to write you and say thank you so much. Your advice has sent me on a path of self-improvement that has truly changed my life. Last November, I found out my wife was cheating on me. Well, that fucking sucks. It took me until July to finally get the balls to say, we're not working this out, get your shit and leave. Get out of here! Pack your shit and go, woman! Shortly after this, I ran into an acquaintance that happened to be a complete knockout, a 10. This was before I had ever listened to any of your work. I'm 35 and she is 25. My pickup skills have never been that great, and I am only an average looking guy, so at the time, I didn't think I would have the ability to pick up someone as drop dead gorgeous as this girl. Well, see, the way I look at it is one of the reasons why you're so attracted to this particular woman is because you're supposed to be. It's designed to be that way. If you didn't feel that compelled or attracted to somebody, you wouldn't put in the effort. You wouldn't put in the time. You wouldn't highly value it. It's just that most people never get to experience what it's like to date somebody that they feel that way for. Like most things in their life, they just settle and they go for basically whatever shows up, which usually ain't much. But I've always had a good sense of humor, and I easily made her laugh, and this gave me confidence, and I noticed she had an attraction to me. We started dating, and the sex was absolutely unbelievable. We would have sex 3 times every night, and she told me over and over how great she thought it was. So far, so good. We quickly fell in love, and I absolutely thought the world of her and had a connection with her greater than anyone else ever in my life. For the next couple of months, it was absolute bliss. But like I said, I was not familiar with her work, and I completely put this girl on a pedestal. So you put her on a pedestal, start kissing her ass, treating her like a celebrity, and that always ends in a predictable result. I constantly told her how wonderful she was and treated her like a celebrity and bought her gifts all the time. So instead of being a teammate and an equal, you basically started treating her like you just weren't worthy. And eventually, the woman's going to agree with you. Unknowingly at the time, my being an uber pleaser was turning her off. Needless to say, I did not see the signs in time. Well, you're not alone. Most guys don't. That's the reality. And I also began pursuing even harder when I noticed her backing off, and I tried to show her how much I loved her constantly. Yeah, because that's what you see in TV and movies all the time. You got to prove yourself to her. You got to prove how much that you care about her and want her. And sometimes women will even say that. You got to prove how much you care. And the guy goes and does it, and they go, I'm just not feeling it. There's no chemistry. There's no spark. Something's missing. I know now. Come on, man, LOL. Like so many of your listeners of yours, this is what led me to find your work. I had a very difficult time completely walking away. It's not easy when you're already when you've sold yourself already, and you're the easiest person to sell, especially when the emotions are involved. Every 10 days or so, I would crack and comment on her Snapchat story or a Facebook post or whatever. Still pursuing, still trying to force some kind of interaction, hoping that she'll take that and invite you into her secret world once again. She would usually respond back with a short reply. In other words, bored, disinterested, predictable, because it's, quite frankly, how pretty much most guys act that she interacts with or that she meets. And then I would usually ask her to meet up for a coffee or something like a little bitch. She would never ever reply to this text. I kept reading your book and decided to go all in and just follow what you said. Yeah, because you're chasing after somebody who's already pushed you away. You're waiting a few days and then trying to figure things are going to change in a few days or even a week. But the reality is she's blowing you off. She unilaterally decided you just weren't good enough in her book. She wasn't attracted to you enough. And scarcity is what creates value. So if somebody takes you for granted, you let them go and then you walk away. And if you never hear from them, then obviously you know where you stand. But if you do, then you got a chance. Because if the woman's the one that unilaterally ends the dating or the relationship or puts you in friend zone, it was her idea. And so therefore it's got to be her idea to rekindle things. Because once she's friend zoned you, she thinks that that's it. It's never going to go anywhere beyond that. Because almost every single time she's ever felt that way about a particular guy, the feelings have never come back because the guys do exactly what you did, is kept chasing, kept trying to convince her, and eventually she blocks him. I took her off my friends list on Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram, and I cut all contact. Well, I don't recommend, I've talked about that in the book, to just push them off your social media, but I know some guys, it's hard, and they just want to do the clean break and say, fuck it. Because the idea is you're letting go and you're walking away, but you're kind of leaving the door open in case she changes her mind, because it often happens when there's still some level of attraction there. But if you go away and you get mad and you unfriend her, because think about it, when people unfriend each other, it's usually because they're mad at each other. So if you've unfriended her, you're mad at her. If you leave her friended and it's like you don't care, you're indifferent one way or another, it's like, hey, if she has interest, great. If not, whatever. When she would comment on something I posted, I would not like it or even respond. That's perfect. That's exactly what I teach in the book. And 7 principles to get an X back. So good job there. Fast forward 2 weeks after removing all contact, and she is now texting me little flirty things every day. Isn't it amazing how simple that is? Few days, few weeks. He's calling her, texting her. She's like, whatever. He does nothing. All of a sudden, she's like, hey. She says she wants to come over to get her coffee mug. Well, I'll bet she does. I know, yeah, right. She really wants that mug back, LOL. That's why women leave things at your place. It gives them a strategic reason to call you when they really want to hang out and spend some time or see where you're at, but they can use the excuse, oh, I'm just calling about my mug. Yeah. The mug you left there on purpose. Like the lipstick you left there on purpose. So she's going to come over and make dinner and have some wine with me. I wonder where you got that idea from. I'm pretty sure we will be completing some indoor Olympics. The bottom line, though, I just want to thank you so much, because even if it doesn't work out with her, I'm dating other girls as well. What led me to your work was wanting to get her back and that alone, but it took on so much more. I decided that I want to make myself a better person and really get to know what made me tick. I feel like I'm twice the man I was before I started this journey, and I owe you a great debt for that. Well, donations are always appreciated, and if you're so inclined, you can go to my website and click the donate button on the bottom of your screen on any page and donate whatever amount you like. And if you haven't gotten my book yet, you can subscribe to the email newsletter on my website and read it totally for free. And then once you see its value, then you can go get a Kindle or an iBook. And you can also get if you do an Audible trial, you can actually get my Audible book totally for free. So you can learn all of my best stuff, my best information for nothing. And on top of that, if you would like to get my help personally with a situation or challenge you're having, go to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book whatever coaching option works for you. And I will talk to you soon.